Vibes and highs, man. Vibes and highs. Yes, sir. I'm not gonna lie. It is that time. It is that time. Gotta make sure that we on, that we firing. Um, to all my stoners, hippies, and hip hop enthusiasts, welcome to the Doja Room. If you're wondering what's playing right now, the tape just dropped. This is Vibes and Highs by yours truly. This is on one. This is me and Fly High Drew. You feel me? Giving y'all some flavor. Oh my God. Come on, man. Run it back. Y'all niggas is not fucking with me. Come on. Put some likes in the motherfucking chat. Drop some likes on the video. This is Vibes and Highs. The if you're on X, the entire album is linked under the video. Go ahead and check this out, man. Before we get started, we gotta spin a couple of tracks. Let's get it, man. Come on. Look, we gotta put this. Uh, be my side. She my little babe. Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, this is just a collection of some tracks that you know what I'm saying that I just put together. Some of these joints I wrote. Just you know what I'm saying gave out, and you know what I'm saying if you were a fan of Dope Boy Diesel, you already heard me put out a couple of these joints. But we tweaked a couple and remixed a couple, and I threw a few of my friends on them. You know what I'm saying, and let them remix my. You know what I mean, but. Big D's was pinning everything, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Everything on the track. Let's get it. I gotta hit niggas with another one. Like, you feel me? We gotta hit niggas with another one because like I said, I put out Hinata, but you feel me? When we drop this one, y'all really gonna see like we giving it up different over here on prosperity side, okay? We really giving it up different. When I tapped my girl Lola Moons and I told her I wanted her to remix this joint, we tackled it with a whole beast. We produced the beat. We redid the lyrics a little bit. We redid the style. And man, she just killed this shit, man. Let's get to the next one. Come on, son. Bro. Like a beat. Classics, classics, classics. I really don't think there's no niggas that can write better than me. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I really think niggas can't write better than me. You see what I just give to shorties? Like I just, like yeah, just a throwaway. Like I don't mean to brag, but like I really like come to me if you really want to hit. I really pin this shit. Like what the fuck is wrong with these niggas? This is vibes and highs. If you just coming in, it's in the comments. It's if you're on X, you can see the whole mixtape is there. I got my boys in there. I got my girls in there. We all just getting to it. You know what I'm saying? That is Lola Moon's covering Hinata. This is Hinata part two. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? Your boy had to pin that. We gotta turn the tempo up one good time though. You feel me? This is the intro track. This is the intro track. Of course. Yeah, that's of course that's the intro track. You know what I'm saying? Let's give niggas one more before we get into the show. Before we get into this breaking evidence and news that we got. Oh boy, man, this ain't looking good for Rock Nation. All right, what Tory's dad said? Rock Nation, you will crumble before God. He said some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But let's take one more flight. This is Take Flight. This is the outro track on the mixtape. Please, once again, I just dropped this shit just dropped today. So go ahead and check this out. We're gonna take flight one time. We're gonna get into the show. Let's get into it. Let's do this shit. Take flight. Take flight. Light up. Light up. Mhm. until I think I'm floating. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Once again, vibes and highs, vibes and highs. This is what we do from the king of vibes himself. Um, I gotta do one more. You know what I'm saying? I gotta do one more. We gotta give y'all the single one more before we go. You know what I'm saying? I have to hit y'all one more time. Y'all can check the whole project out yourself. As I said, this is me and the geysers. We all on here, but let's get on to on one more time, and we gonna get the show rolling. Y'all not feeling me, man. Y'all not feeling me. Come on, come on. Get some on 10. Get some on 10. If you gotta. I'm gonna take it down. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Was that was on one. That was on one again. Go ahead and y'all check out the motherfucking tape. Give me 1 second. Check out the motherfucking tape. I appreciate you guys for stopping through. I'm your boy, Dope Boy Diesel. This is Vibes and Highs by yours truly. Okay, we got a shameless self plug, nigga. This is my shit, nigga. Of course you're gonna come through and hear it. So yeah. So I want to get to this breaking news. This is what we really gotta get to, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? That we really gotta get to this. Okay. So um this is a bit strange, okay? So this video says a South Florida woman alleges conspiracy in the Baker Act, and she has a lawsuit, okay? Now, when you guys figure out, when you guys figure out who her mother is, oh, we got some things to discuss, but get comfortable. Welcome to the Doge Room again to all my stoners, hippies, and hip hop enthusiasts. Get roll yourself a blunt, sit back. We got some shit to get into. We got some shit to unpack. I appreciate you guys for stopping through every single day as we've been covering this trial, as we've been covering other stuff. But right now, this has to be unpacked. We have to get to this. So let's see what this South Florida woman has to allege against her mother. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to it. Oh, oh, look at this, y'all. Hold on. Let me switch it to this shit because I don't want it to stop while I'm trying to switch over for y'all. So let me just real quick. We just gonna switch it over. Even though we're gonna have the ads, I can't give y'all the premium. Chill, chill, chill. Can't give you niggas the premium. Can't give y'all the premium. We're gonna switch it over. Hold on 1 second. Cause this this shit right here is crazy. I'm telling you, like yeah. It ceases it never ceases to amaze me how niggas just ignore this shit. Okay, let's pull it back up. All right, let's pull it back up. Cause we
Florida
gotta
woman is taking legal
we gotta
action.
unpack
He has
this.
her story.
So legally,
Right.
I can go home.
No, you cannot.
Why?
Because you're being Baker active.
Body camera video shows the moments Broward deputies encouraged Demore Hadley to get into this pickup truck with people she says she didn't know.
I can't ride with you and you guys take me?
You're going to be in handcuffs, so dog's not going to be able
I
to
don't
come?
want to be handcuffed.
Okay.
Demore says they took her to a hospital for a mental health evaluation after this doctor signed paperwork saying she was a risk.
Huh?
We received a call from your family that you tried to the night before.
A doctor she says she'd never met before.
Doctor you never met
And according
before. That's some Kanye shit. That's some Michael Jackson Kanye shit, isn't it? That's some Michael Jackson Kanye shit. That don't sound like some Michael Jackson Kanye shit to y'all. Doctors you ain't never put, you just imagine a doctor coming to your goddamn house that you ain't ever even pulled up to. You never even said, "Hey, bro, I want you to check me out." He just came through and said, "You know what? I need to check you out." Just knocking on your door randomly. How does that work? How does that work? You know what I'm saying? This shit is a little. This is already a little crazy. Like, come on, walk with me. Walk with me.
To Demore, it's her own mother who's behind it. In this lawsuit, she claims her mother, Desiree Perez, used unlawful means to have Demore falsely detained under Florida's Baker Act and Marchman Act.
So she's the CEO of RocNation, a company that she owns along with Sean Carter, the rapper Diddy.
The complaint alleges a conspiracy, saying Perez used her money, power, and influence to tear apart Demore and her husband, Javon Hadley, and created an enterprise of individuals to effectuate her plot.
To essentially try to separate me.
Wait, she did what? She did what? Look, y'all not hearing. Yeah, wait, we gotta run that back. We gotta run that back.
Bruh.
We gotta run that back. We gotta run that. I'm trying to tell you. Now we gotta run that back. Who? Who's your mom? Wait, who's her mother? Wait, did you chat? Did y'all hear who her mother was? Did y'all wait? Let's run this back a little bit more. Let's run
To
it back.
OD the night before. We received a call from your family that you tried to OD the night before.
A doctor she says she'd never met before. And according to Demore, it's her own mother who's behind it. In this lawsuit, she claims her mother, Desiree Perez, used unlawful means to have Demore falsely detained under Florida's Baker Act and Marchman Act.
So she's the CEO of RocNation, a company that she owns along with Sean Carter, the famous rapper Jay-Z.
The complaint alleges a conspiracy, saying Perez used her money, power, and influence to tear apart Demore and her husband, Javon Hadley, and
Man, I fell down to my knees when the law came.
Do y'all hear this shit? Nah, y'all don't hear it. Y'all didn't hear it. Let's run it back again. Let's run it back again. Y'all ain't hearing this shit, man. Y'all ain't
And
hearing it.
according to Demore, it's her own
Yeah, I ain't
mother
hearing
who's
it.
behind it. In this lawsuit, she claims her mother, Desiree Perez, used unlawful means to have Demore falsely detained under Florida's Baker Act and Marchman Act.
So she's the CEO of RocNation, a company that she owns along with Sean Carter, the famous rapper Jay-Z.
The complaint alleges a conspiracy, saying Perez used her money, money, power, and influence to tear apart Demore and her husband, Javon Hadley, and created an enterprise of individuals to effectuate her plot.
To essentially,
she created on her own daughter an enterprise of individuals to effectuate her plot. Are you niggas not hearing it? What are you niggas not getting at this point? This is her daughter. Look, the video only got 5K views. They're not even saying her name. They're not even putting her name in the report. Don't you think if this was Tory Lane's dad, his name would be in the report? Don't you think if this was Chris Brown's mom, his name would be in the report? Don't you think if, I don't know, the baby's mom pulled some shit like this, his name wouldn't be in the report? Don't you think, I don't know, if Drake's mom did some shit like this, his name wouldn't be in the report? What we not getting right now? What are y'all niggas not getting right now? Are you not seeing what these people are doing? We haven't even gotten deep into it yet. Do you hear it? Do you hear? Let's run it back one more time. I'm gonna play it through. I know, but because y'all not hearing this shit. Because there's so many people online right now. I'm going back and forth as we speak. You niggas is flooding my shit, flooding my comments every 5 seconds. Flooding my mentions and shit every 5 seconds. Because y'all are trying to argue against what we are all witnessing, what we are all seeing. This is Desiree Perez's own daughter. Her own daughter. This is her daughter saying this shit. This is her daughter telling you how they regularly operate when they spot a op, when they don't like you, when they deem you unworthy to be in this power structure. You niggas are not getting it. You niggas are not getting it.
Bruh.
What more do you need to hear? What more do you niggas need to hear?
Are you dumb, stupid, or dumb? Huh? Play me like a dummy, like bitch. Are you
What more do you niggas need to hear when it comes down to how these people operate? And we're calling out these discrepancies in these cases, the DDGs, the Tory Lanes. What are we talking about? How many times do we have to tell you niggas that there is some fishy shit going on over there? How many times do we have to tell you niggas that these niggas are playing underhanded backdoor deal moves? This bitch has an entire enterprise. She set up, basically, what that means, she set up a goddamn company to destroy niggas. She set up individual companies for you, nigga. To destroy you, nigga. To destroy your public image. How much more do you niggas need? Let's run this shit back. Let's play this shit, man. Let's play this shit, because y'all ain't getting it. Y'all really not getting it.
And according to Demore, it's her own mother who's behind it. In this lawsuit, she claims her mother, Desiree Perez, used unlawful means to have Demore falsely detained under Florida's Baker Act and Marchman Act.
so she's the CEO of RocNation, a company that she owns along with Sean Carter, the famous rapper Jay-Z.
The complaint alleges a conspiracy, saying Perez used her money, power, and influence to tear apart Demore and her husband, Javon Hadley, and created an enterprise of individuals to effectuate her plot.
To essentially try to separate me from my husband and to falsely accuse him of domestic violence.
Perez has repeatedly denied these allegations in court.
to falsely accuse him of domestic violence. Let that sink in. This is her go-to move. This is Desiree Perez's go-to move, is to falsely accuse a man of domestic violence. Let's run that back real quick.
And to falsely accuse him of domestic violence.
Perez has repeatedly denied these allegations in court filings. A month before Demore filed her complaint, we found her mother filed her own lawsuit against Demore's husband, Javon. Citing evidence, Perez says he has abused her daughter for years, something the couple has denied in court records. In that lawsuit, Desiree Perez says she moved to Baker Act her daughter, fearing she was at risk of suicide and abusing prescription drugs.
I haven't seen anything in my entire 20 years of practicing law.
Do you know what she did with her daughter? Do you know what that means? She locked her daughter damn near in an asylum. Padded walls. She locked her daughter in a hospital with padded walls, or in the wherever the fuck she was at, with padded walls. Locked her up. She was locked the fuck up. This is what she did to her own daughter because she didn't like the man that she was dating. Her old accusations, filed lawsuits against him because she was determined that she was going to put this man in jail regardless of if he did this shit or not. This is Desiree Perez, ladies and gentlemen. This is how she gets down, ladies and gentlemen. This is how RocNation gets down, ladies and gentlemen. What are y'all not getting? Y'all arguing with me for what? What are y'all arguing with me for? What are we arguing about? What are we arguing about? Y'all not hearing this shit.
That it is so clear that someone
Court filings a month before
Separate me from my husband.
Run it back.
Javon Hadley and created an enterprise of individuals to effectuate her plot.
To essentially try to
Run it the fuck
separate
back.
me from my husband and to falsely accuse him of domestic violence.
Perez has repeatedly denied these allegations in court filings. A month before Demore filed her complaint, we found her mother filed her own lawsuit against Demore's husband, Javon. Citing evidence, Perez says he has abused her daughter for years, something the couple has denied in court records. In that lawsuit, Desiree Perez.
So y'all listening to all of this shit. What's to stop her from either going to Holly or Holly going to her and saying, you know, you want your kid? You want to keep your kid? This man is giving you trouble. He's giving you problems. You tired of him? You want me to handle that? You want me to give him the Desiree special package, nigga? You want me to give him the Desiree stimulus, nigga? Y'all are witnessing. Stamp it here. This is the Desiree stimulus. This is the Desiree stimulus. This is the Desiree stimulus, nigga. What's to stop Holly from going to her and being like, you know what? I want my kid. I'm tired of this nigga. I need you to handle that. I need you to handle that. I need you to handle that. What is to stop her from doing that? You seeing the Desiree stimulus right here unfold. Her daughter is giving you the play-by-play on what she does to these niggas in the industry. What are we talking about? Her daughter is giving y'all the play-by-play, and they trying to suppress this video. They trying to suppress this video right now.
Perez says she moved to Baker Act her daughter, fearing she was at risk of suicide and abusing prescription drugs.
I haven't seen anything in my entire 20 years of practicing law that it is so clear that someone did something wrong.
Attorney Hilton Napoleon is representing DeMore in the lawsuit, which claims Perez harassed the couple for years, including making unfounded claims to get Javon arrested on multiple occasions for battery and domestic violence, charges prosecutors did not pursue.
The state attorney's office wrote a 11-page scathing closeout memoranda, which basically said that her mother made false allegations to the police.
In this closeout memo, a prosecutor with the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office.
Do y'all not see how much power she has? She can make these claims. She can get her daughter put into a goddamn asylum damn near. She can just get you locked up like that. She can get shit put on your name like that. Now imagine if homie, you know, wasn't on the best of terms with his with the daughter, with Desiree's daughter. Imagine if homie, they just had a simple disagreement. They had a simple falling out. They had a, you know, they parted ways, but they had maybe a situation or maybe a type of relationship that Holly and DDG had. You don't think that man would be under the jail right now? If her daughter just leaned into this shit, if her daughter just took mom's side, took what mom was saying, imagine all her daughter had to do is say is true. The only thing that is saving this man's life is that his wife is standing next to him. The only thing that's saving this man's life right now is that this woman is not afraid of her mother, is not afraid of Desiree Perez, and she's willing to tell the world what this woman really does behind closed doors, how she really operates. She's willing to give us a play-by-play of the Desiree Perez stimulus package, nigga.
Harassed the couple for years, including making unfounded claims to get Javon arrested on multiple occasions for battery and domestic violence, charges prosecutors did not pursue.
The state attorney's office wrote a 11-page scathing closeout memoranda, which basically said that her mother made false allegations to the police.
In this closeout memo, a prosecutor with the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office cites DeMore's lack of cooperation and raises concerns about some of the evidence and how it was obtained. The prosecutor also wrote DeMore was wrongfully Baker Acted last year.
So what they're saying is they're not pursuing this largely, as I said, due to lack of the victim's cooperation, her daughter. But they said she had been wrongfully Baker acted, and let's just look that up. Why not? Why, you know? Let's just make sure we talking facts here. Okay. So the Baker Act, let's go to this right here. It says the Baker Act, officially known as the Florida Mental Health Act of 1971, is a law in the United States of Florida that allows certain professionals such as doctors, mental health practitioners, judges, and law enforcement officers to detain and involuntarily commit individuals to a mental health facility for up to 72 hours. Okay? So Desiree made a call, and like that, she got her put into a mental health facility. Told them, harassing her daughter, harassing the daughter, harassing the husband, you know, just basically using her power, misusing her power. And as I said, you can see how she does the Desiree Perez stimulus package with the abuse claims, with the domestic violence claims, with the he did that. And then they're even asking how she got certain evidence. How did you obtain certain evidence, ma'am? Where did this come from? How is it possible that you even got this? This is what they're asking her.
Something her mother's attorney disputes in this letter, challenging many of the memo's other conclusions.
I have 3 different collateral sources of information that say that she's been acting psychotic, that she threatened to overdose yesterday.
Demore's lawsuit alleges her mother conspired with prominent psychiatrist Dr. Daniel Bober, seen here in body camera video, and others to have Demore committed for a mental health evaluation. Bober cites supporting evidence.
So this is the guy right here, I guess they said Bober, who Desiree just has these doctors on call who can just show up and be like, yeah, she needs to be committed. Yeah, fuck it. Just show up at your doorstep. You ain't never seen a motherfucker a day in your life. And he like, yeah, we got to check you into a mental health facility. NANI? Just show up to your door one day and tell you, we got to get you committed. We got to check you in. There's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you, bitch. This is what Desiree Perez is out here doing.
From her family and diagnosed Demore with an unspecified psychosis. He ordered she be taken to Memorial Regional Hospital, where he is chief of psychiatry, and where results from drug tests taken upon admission were negative, according to records Demore shared with us.
They told me your tox screens came out negative, and I go, I know. I don't do drugs.
In a statement, Dr. Bober's attorney said Demore was placed under the Baker Act for 38 hours due to the potential risk of imminent harm she posed to herself, adding failing to take appropriate action would have been a breach of Dr. Bober's ethical and professional obligations. While Demore was at Memorial, her mother further petitioned to have her transported to a different facility under Florida's Marchman Act, claiming again in court records that Demore suffered from severe drug abuse. A judge granted that petition.
They ran the test. They knew that she had no drugs in her system and she was not abusing drugs. And the fact that you can't do anything about it is scary.
Demore was sent to this treatment center in Deerfield Beach, where Dr. Bober serves as medical director.
Where are the people that are supposed to protect me from this?
Run that back. Run that back. Y'all see this shit? You gotta pick up on it.
Demore was sent to this treatment center in Deerfield Beach, where Dr. Bober serves as medical director.
Where are the people that are supposed to
serves as medical?
They got their own facility. Desiree Perez got a place she can send you, a doctor who will show up at your doorstep to come get you if she feel like you on some fuck shit. Do y'all not see how weird this shit is? Nobody's gonna question this shit, right? Megan Thee Stallion's just telling the truth. Everybody's just telling the truth. Just believe everybody. You know, nobody's lying. There's no misuse of power. There's nobody, you know, pulling underhanded tricks and bribing witnesses, and you know, there's no treachery afoot. I'm guessing. There's no treachery afoot. Is what you guys are saying. Everything's just calm, cool, collected. Everything's cool. All of this shit that we're seeing, that you bitches choose not to see, that niggas just they just hit the Ray Charles. They just hit the Ray Charles. You know what I'm saying? They don't. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know what you're saying. I mean, I'm talking about we got motherfuckers pulling up in the comments, trying to call you stupid, trying to call you insane, when they didn't even follow the trial. They didn't even follow the details of the trial. Why do y'all niggas get up here and just parrot talking points? Y'all don't do no research. Y'all don't look into anything. But y'all get up here and want to tell me some shit. Y'all get up here and want to talk to me about what I'm seeing and hearing with my own eyes and ears. You niggas just want me to be stupid? She has a place, there is a facility, and there is a doctor in Florida. She in New York or wherever the fuck she at. But this just paints the picture of anywhere. You can't run from Desiree Perez. You can't run from RocNation. Anywhere they'll just snatch you up, get you committed. This is Dr. Daniel Bober. Y'all niggas go ahead and send him a nice little email, send him a nice little something, you know what I mean? Send him a nice little message. You feel me? Cause ain't no way this man should be practicing medicine. There's no way this nigga should be practicing medicine and he can just be able to get a call to be like, okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and just do whatever. Do whatever you tell me to do, Miss Desiree Perez. I'm gonna just do whatever.
Director.
Where are the people that are supposed to protect me from this happening?
According to her lawsuit, Demore requested a hair follicle test at that facility called Life Skills, which detects drug use for at least the past 3 months, and which showed no drugs had been in Demore. Demore was held at Life Skills until April 8th. She shared discharge paperwork that lists a diagnosis of persistent depressive disorder, which she disputes. No medication was prescribed. Court records show Demore was able to leave that day after her mother voluntarily dismissed the case. But Demore says the damage has been done, and she feels a system designed to keep people safe failed to protect her.
Money?
Oh, baby, not only you. It didn't only fail to protect you. As we see, day in and day out, the system has failed you and countless others. And we watch it happen. We're questioning evidence. We're wondering how certain shit is being, you know, passed through in trial. And as we just sit here and get the full picture of, like I said, how this woman operates, you can't tell me that there's not anything fishy going on in these other cases surrounding these people. You can't tell me otherwise. Because what are you niggas not understanding? What is it that y'all are not getting? I get the memo. I got it a long time ago.
Influence and power should not be something that's used, right, or abused to hurt innocent people.
I wonder what more she can speak on. I wonder what more Desiree Perez daughter can speak on. This is why I'm telling you niggas, I you know, sometimes the spidey sense be tingling just a tad bit. Because, you know, a little bit ago, not too long ago, we dropped an article. Yes, indeed, we dropped an article. Okay, where I asked this very question. Okay, I said, in a shocking turn of events about Tory Lane stabbing, you know what I'm saying? Of course, we were all shocked about that, and evidence and, you know, things are continuing to drop around that. But it says, while the details of the attack remain murky, speculation has swirled around a possible connection to Desiree Perez, the influential CEO of RocNation, whose past ties to drug cartels have resurfaced in light of this violent episode. Could Perez, a powerful figure in the music industry with a controversial history, have orchestrated this incident as a favor from her alleged cartel connections? Or is this merely a coincidence? Now, y'all hearing this report. Y'all are hearing this report from her daughter. Does this sound crazy now? Does this sound far-fetched? Does this sound outlandish? Let's get into what we were talking about here, okay? Desiree Perez's history is far from ordinary. In 1994, Desiree Perez was arrested in connection with a federal drug investigation targeting a major South Florida drug smuggling operation. She was charged with conspiracy to distribute narcotics, a serious offense that could have derailed her future. However, Perez cooperated with federal authorities, including wearing a wire to record meetings with major cocaine traffickers. Her assistance provided instrumental to the DEA, helping to secure significant drug busts in Puerto Rico and Colombia, according to sources familiar with the case. This cooperation, while a testament to her willingness to make amends, also paints a picture of a woman deeply entangled in a world of organized crime. In a world that doesn't easily forget, okay? Because you don't just live good, be be chilling with your feet up. This is the cartel we talking about, right? Despite her criminal past, Perez received a presidential pardon from Donald Trump on January 19th, 2021, during his final hours in office. The White House stated that at the time, Perez had taken full accountability for her actions and had become an advocate for criminal justice reform in her community. What kind of criminal justice reform? What kind of partners did she make in fighting for criminal justice? Did some of that include partners who could, more so easily get these domestic violence offenses pushed? I wonder. Yet the pardon did little to erase the lingering questions about her earlier life. Sources have long suggested that Perez may have maintained ties to drug cartels, especially the notorious Griselda Blanco's cartel, which operated with ruthless efficiency in the cocaine trade. While these claims lack concrete evidence, there's often discussed online and in forums without substance that they raised an intriguing possibility that could Perez's past may have given her leverage with dangerous players in the criminal underworld. She may have still kept these connections. She may have, and you see that she is willing to do whatever. She is drunk with power. She is willing to do whatever to get her way. This is what she does. The stabbing of Tory Lanez, an artist whose career has been marred by legal troubles, including a high-profile shooting case involving Megan Thee Stallion, adds a new layer of intrigue. Lanez, known for his brash persona and controversial antics, has made enemies in the music industry. But the nature of the attack, a targeted stabbing, suggests a level of premeditation that goes beyond a random act of violence. Could this have been a calculated move by someone in the power to pull strings behind the scenes? Like, I don't know, a Desiree Perez? So since her appointment as CEO of RocNation in 2019, Desiree Perez has been a formidable force in the entertainment industry. Under her leadership, the company, founded by Jay-Z, has expanded its influence across publishing, touring, television, film, and activism. Activism, okay? Perez has also, remember, they're doing a lot for Meek, they're doing a lot for all of these people. They're cozying up to these people in politics. They are getting a lot of power. Under her leadership, says Perez has also been recognized for her efforts in promoting criminal justice reform and social justice initiatives, a cause that aligns with her own journey of redemption. It also plays up to her image, to clean her image, to show how good she is nowadays. But her position at the helm of RocNation also places her in a unique position of power, one that could potentially be used to settle a score or call in favors. Tory Lanez's career, while successful, has often intersected with RocNation's sphere of influence. The music industry is a small world, and I can tell you firsthand, yes it is. And tension between artists, labels, and executives are not uncommon. If Lane had crossed paths with Perez or RocNation in a way that caused friction, whether through business dealings, personal disputes, or industry rivalries, it's not implausible to imagine, especially now that we just watched what we watched, Perez leveraging her alleged cartel connections to send a message or to stop some evidence that we watched yesterday. And if y'all didn't watch that breakdown of 36 hours later, go ahead and check that episode out from yesterday. But it's not far-fetched to imagine she can send such a message. So the idea that Perez might have called in a favor from the Mexican cartel to orchestrate the stabbing of Tory Lanez is of course speculative. However, the timing and nature of the attack raise questions that are hard to ignore. Cartels are known for their brutal enforcement tactics, often carrying out acts of violence to protect their interest or those of their allies. If Perez has maintained ties to such organizations, as some sources allege, it's within the realm of possibility that she could have requested their intervention. On the other hand, the stabbing could simply be a tragic coincidence unrelated to Perez's past. Lane's own legal and personal troubles might have made him a target for unrelated enemies without concrete evidence linking Perez to the incident. Any connection remains theoretical. So we have to say that, but again, with what we just watched, it's not hard to believe. Now, we have plenty of articles like this. I hope you guys continue to check out our articles, but it's not hard to believe. Let's watch this one more time because it's very important. Okay, it's very important that we get this message out of what's going on in RocNation. All right, it's just very important. Now you see that I was already thinking like, putting two and two together because the shit just seems fishy. But let's watch this video once again because like I said, we're gonna watch this in its entirety because we can't continue to let shit like this tear down black men in the industry and we have nothing to say about it and we just let it go on and we just let it just perpetuate further and let these people and let some of these evil ass women just have their way with the industry. We can't have that shit. Let's start it again from the top.
And is taking legal action after she says she spent nearly 2 weeks in mental health institutions for no legitimate reason.
She claims in a recently filed lawsuit that it was orchestrated by her own mother and others who should have protected her failed her.
NBC6 investigative reporter Amy Viteri has her story.
So legally, I can go home.
No, you cannot.
Why?
Because you're being Baker active.
Body camera video shows the moments Broward deputies encouraged Demore Hadley to get into this pickup truck with people she says she didn't know.
I can't ride with you and you guys take me?
You're going to be in handcuffs. The dog's not going to be able to
I don't
come.
want to be handcuffed.
Okay.
Demore says they took her to a hospital for a mental health evaluation after this doctor signed paperwork saying she was a risk to herself.
What he told me was, we received a call from your family that you tried to OD the night before.
A doctor she says she'd never met before. And according to Demore, it's her own mother who's behind it. In this lawsuit, she claims her mother, Desiree Perez, used unlawful means to have Demore falsely detained under Florida's Baker Act and Marchman Act.
So she's the CEO of RocNation, a company that she owns along with Sean Carter, the famous rapper Jay-Z.
The complaint alleges a conspiracy, saying Perez used her money, power, and influence to tear apart Demore and her husband, Javon Hadley, and created an enterprise of individuals to effectuate her plot.
To essentially try to separate me from my husband and to falsely accuse him of domestic violence.
Perez has repeatedly denied these allegations in court filings. A month before Demore filed her complaint, we found her mother filed her own lawsuit against Demore's husband, Javon. Citing evidence, Perez says he has abused her daughter for years, something the couple has denied in court records. In that lawsuit, Desiree Perez says she moved to Baker Act her daughter, fearing she was at risk of suicide and abusing prescription drugs.
I haven't seen anything in my entire 20 years of practicing law that it is so clear that someone did something wrong.
Attorney Hilton Napoleon is representing Demore in the lawsuit, which claims Perez harassed the couple for years, including making unfounded claims to get Javon arrested on multiple.
I know I said I was gonna play this all the way through, but why is it that every time one of these lawyers are looking into these cases dealing with and around RocNation that they have a quote like that they have never seen something so clear cut, just a mishandling of the facts, the evidence, everything. Let's just run that back. Why is it that they always say that?
I haven't seen anything in my entire 20 years of practicing law that it is so clear that someone did something wrong.
Attorney Hilton Napoleon is representing Demore in the lawsuit, which claims Perez harassed the couple for years, including making unfounded claims to get Javon arrested on multiple occasions for battery and domestic violence, charges prosecutors did not pursue.
The state attorney's office wrote a 11-page scathing closeout memoranda, which basically said that her mother made false allegations to the police.
In this closeout memo, a prosecutor with the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office cites Demore's lack of cooperation and raises concerns about some of the evidence and how it was obtained. The prosecutor also wrote Demore was wrongfully Baker Acted last year, something her mother's attorney disputes in this letter, challenging many of the memo's other conclusions.
I have 3 different collateral sources of information that say that she's been acting psychotic, that she threatened to overdose yesterday.
Demore's lawsuit alleges her mother conspired with prominent psychiatrist Dr. Daniel Bober, seen here in body camera video, and others to have Demore committed for a mental health evaluation. Bober cites supporting evidence from her family and diagnosed Demore with an unspecified psychosis. He ordered she be taken to Memorial Regional Hospital, where he is chief of psychiatry, and where results from drug tests taken upon admission were negative, according to records Demore shared with us.
They told me your tox screens came out negative, and I go, I know. I don't do drugs.
In a statement, Dr. Bober's attorney said Demore was placed under the Baker Act for 38 hours due to the potential risk of imminent harm she posed to herself, adding failing to take appropriate action would have been a breach of Dr. Bober's ethical and professional obligations. While Demore was at Memorial, her mother further petitioned to have her transported to a different facility under Florida's Marchman Act, claiming again in court records that Demore suffered from severe drug abuse. A judge granted that petition.
They ran the test. They knew that she had no drugs in her system and she was not abusing drugs. And the fact that you can't do anything about it is scary.
Demore was sent to this treatment center in Deerfield Beach, where Dr. Bober serves as medical director.
Where are the people that are supposed to protect me from this happening?
According to her lawsuit, Demore requested a hair follicle test at that facility called Life Skills, which detects drug use for at least the past 3 months, and which showed no drugs had been in Demore. Demore was held at Life Skills until April 8th. She shared discharge paperwork that lists a diagnosis of persistent depressive disorder, which she disputes. No medication was prescribed. Court records show Demore was able to leave that day after her mother voluntarily dismissed the case. But Demore says the damage has been done, and she feels a system designed to keep people safe failed to protect her.
Money, influence, and power should not be something that's used, right, or abused to hurt innocent people.
Perez has filed a motion to dismiss Demore's complaint, asserting that the Baker Act and other legal proceedings she has undertaken were rooted in legitimate concern for her daughter's safety.
The Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office tells us they stand by their memo. Memorial Healthcare says they can't speak about Demore's case because of the pending lawsuit. We also contacted Life Skills South Florida and have not yet heard back. BSO told us the incident involving Demore is now internally under review. Amy Viteri, NBC6 News.
Yeah, I mean, what more do you need? It's like, what more do you need to see, right? Desiree Perez is a woman who obviously is, as I said, drunk with power. She can't take, not being able to control a situation or control her daughter. She can't take that. She can't take not being able to get her way. And if she doesn't get her way, she is going to take and use her power to either put you in jail, to falsely accuse you of things, to hurl false evidence at you. I mean, look what she has displayed in just dealing with her daughter and her daughter's husband. For whatever her daughter, for whatever reason she doesn't like her daughter's husband, those Hispanics, those older Hispanics, when it comes down to black niggas, okay? That's all I'm going to say, but she is working for RocNation, but who knows? You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to their own kids, they'll work with niggas, sure. They'll work with you. But they ain't about to just let certain shit rock. this is just unfortunate that, you know, this is the type of shit that goes on in the industry, and we got to watch a man behind bars right now who is facing the same woman right now. This is who he's facing. This is what he's facing. I want y'all to understand this. This is what Tory Lanez is facing right now. So in her daughter's own words, you're seeing it here now. You're watching this. In the daughter's own words, there is something truly wrong with with her mother. And her mother is willing to use her power, her influence, her money to get what needs to be done accomplished. It doesn't matter what she needs to say or do. She's going to make it happen. We pointed out how she makes an entire enterprise of individuals who will dedicate themselves, who are on payroll to destroy you. She harassed her daughter and her husband for years. Look at this. She created an enterprise of individuals to effectuate her plot. So I'm taking my time, and I play this in its entirety, and we're talking about this in its entirety, and we're dragging this, yes, because you niggas have to understand who Tory Lanez, who DDG, who any of these niggas who get accused and are facing RocNation are and so many people sit here and act like this shit is just a myth. But this is not a myth. This shit is, we watching this shit ain't just a myth. When people are sitting here talking about RocNation and it's starting to become, RocNation starts to have this boogeyman persona behind it, more and more you niggas are starting to see that this is not just a myth. This is more than just a myth. This is more than just people talking. This is more than just conspiracy theories at this point. This is real life facts. This is her own daughter, her own flesh and blood, coming out and speaking about what her mother does. As I said, the Desiree Perez stimulus, my nigga. This is what she does. This is what RocNation, the CEO of RocNation, does. Why do you think this was so easy for her to do? Why do you think that she has these connections and she's willing to go this far with her own flesh and blood? If she's willing to do this to her own daughter, what do you think that she's willing to do to Tory Lanez? What do you think that they're willing to do to DDG? What do you think that they're willing to do to these niggas who they want to bury? I'm just asking a real question. We watching this shit. We watching this shit in its entirety. And there is no mention of Desiree Perez on posted on the outside of this video. You gotta go and seek this video. I had to find this shit. I had to really search. So I'm trying to tell you niggas, because when it comes down to these people that we are going back and forth with, over these last couple of weeks, you got to understand that these people can see shit like this, and it's not going to change anything going on in their head. They have deeper issues. These bitches are the one who need the Baker Act. These bitches need the Baker Act. I'm really just trying to make y'all understand how cutthroat this industry is. When niggas say the industry is cutthroat, y'all don't understand. how cutthroat this industry is. Y'all will hear stories, y'all will see things happen or see rumors happen and just think it's so outlandish that it can't be true sometimes. But I'm here to tell you 50% of the time, maybe even 75% of the times, it's true. It's true. And this boogeyman persona is starting to look more and more like a reality when it comes down to Desiree Perez, when it comes down to RocNation and what they're doing, what they've been doing. Okay? This shit is ridiculous. So, yeah, I had to make sure that we get that out there. I thank you, everybody coming in here rocking with me. We're gonna keep on moving forward to the Diddy trial. Okay, we're gonna keep on moving forward to the Diddy stuff. But I had to get that out there. We had to put that on blast because, as I said, things things get tricky. Things get real tricky when you don't pay attention to these little things going on around the industry. Okay. So, yeah, free Tory first and foremost before we pack up this topic. You know what I'm saying? And let me just go ahead and give a goddamn Don DeMarco for Desiree Perez's daughter for taking a stand, standing up to her mother, standing up to her own flesh and blood, and saying, I'm tired of this shit. I'm not going to be silent about this shit no more. And we're looking at a true victim. Okay? We're looking at a true victim. We're not looking at nobody who's just sitting here fabricating stories. And we're looking at somebody who's willing to tell you and willing to put the power structure and put the industry on blast and tell you what they're really doing out here. Okay, give her another one. Okay, let's go ahead and get to this Diddy stuff because yeah, it's a lot going on with that, obviously. It seems like we kind of lost our place. So we're gonna find our place back real quick. And I think we were still on. No, actually, we had moved on to Mia. We had already moved on to Mia after a certain point. And we got to get back to where we were with her. Now, real quick, going over and let me just check this real quick and see why certain things are trending right now. Because I see Tory trending. I don't want to miss no updates. I don't want to miss no updates, but I guess Tory is just still trending from yesterday. But okay, yeah, free Tory Lanez. Let's continue on to the Diddy stuff. I was just wondering why he's trending. But okay. They're asking Mia questions. And remember, they were talking about how we talked a little bit about her, Mia, the assistant. We talked a little bit about how, when she was first hired at Bad Boy, she hadn't slept for 5 days. Okay, her and Cassie got pretty close. She was basically shadowing Diddy a lot, and stayed at his side. She testified about, Diddy also being violent with her, and she even went into detail about the incident with Cassie getting thrown into a bed frame and having this big gash on her apartment. Um, she put out to the jury and to everyone as well that you know that his moods are to be anticipated, that he was very, he was very bipolar with his moods or his mood swings. Um, she also testified of, her seeing Cassie being beat on several different times and several different occasions. Um, and I believe that she also testified uh, about her and Cassie sneaking out to go to Prince's party and basically Diddy catching them and Diddy, again, beating the shit out of Cassie. Um, so she had plenty to say when it came down to in my personal opinion and from the people I talked to, it was just it's just another bad day for the defense. And I don't think they, with the prosecution dragging her particular testimony out, I think they want this to be even more hard hitting than Capricorn Clark and Cassie's. Um, but let's get back to where we left off with her. Um, Also, she talked about him throwing a bowl of spaghetti at her, turkey meat, a computer, a phone. The nigga was just throwing all type of shit at her. It's crazy. Okay. So let's pick up where they say, where were you when he threw the computer at you? She said she was in a trailer. Swiss Beast was there. The Wi-Fi was broken, and I went to look into it. Um, I came back and they said, we're working on it, she says. And what did Mr. Combs do? She said, I said I should talk to Bill Gates if I had to. Then he threw his computer at my head hard. It just missed me. I ran and hid behind the luggage van. They said, what did you feel? She said, I was worried what I did to make him be like this to me. They said, did he hurt you? She said, in Turks and Caicos at the revolt offices. They said, where were you at in Turks? She said, a hammock by my room. Puff dumped a bucket of ice on me, then took my phone. I didn't want him to see it. The team read a message about his moods. I didn't want him to see it, so I jumped on his back. They said, what did he do? She said, he threw me back into the pool. They said, and at revolt? She said, he was using my phone and I didn't want him to see my message. Maybe I called him an asshole. I tried to get my phone back. He ran into the bathroom and slammed the door on my arm repeatedly. Holy shit. This is amazing. That's crazy. They said the injuries. She said bruises. Did you see him later? She said at a studio. He told me he sent all my compromising photos to him to I guess they meant his phone, in case I had stuff on him, kind of like a bullying joke. How did you take it? I had no photos. I knew he was lying. What are these? She said my emails with Tony and Shannon. I said Puff took my phone, my iPhone. I don't know when I'll get it back. Tony asks what happened. I said, definitely an in-person story. They asked why. She said, I wouldn't put violence in writing. Who was Matt? Puff's engineer. At one point we dated, she says. They ask, I have one more. Oh, they say I have one more. The judge says they break, they come back. They're back. She says the sexual assaults, when did they occur? She says when I was working for Puff. Where where was the first time, they ask. She says the Plaza Hotel in New York for Puff's 40th birthday. Were you his personal assistant, they asked. She said yes. I'd only been there a few months. What rooms did Mr. Combs rent out? She said the penthouse. A party, guests, and celebrities there. What did Mr. Combs do? He asked to speak to me in the kitchen. What did he do? He had everyone else clear the room. What did he say? She said that that we're going to be working closer together. He poured us 2 shots of vodka each for his birthday. What did you do with the shot? She said I took them. They hit me hard. Usually I could take it easily. My eyes couldn't focus. His face was close. He put his arms up the side of my dress and he kissed me. Did you want to? They asked. She said no. Were you able to say no? She said I was shocked. I froze. I didn't process what was happening. Next thing I knew, it was morning and I was in a chair in the penthouse. How had you looked at him? She said like an older adult. He was the boss or the king. What were your expectations? She says, I thought it would never happen again. A huge accident. Were there other times he made you feel uncomfortable sexually? She said, yes. I had to carry bags to his room. Downstairs was Uncle Paulie. What did you say? What did he say to you? They say objection. Judge says grounds. They say hearsay. She says for the effect, they say it was overruled. She said, I bought the bags. He asked me to pull up something on his computer. He came and sat next to me, leaned over me as to put his face in the computer in an uncomfortable way. Said, how did you feel? I pretended I had to go to the bathroom. Where were you the next time Mr. Combs sexually assaulted you? She says in Beverly Hills Grove. I was asleep on the bathroom bunk. I was allowed to lock the door. I woke up. There was a weight of a person on me. They said, who? She said, Puff. She said it was so fast he used one hand to get his pants undone. He put himself inside me, she says. They said, you mean his penis inside you? She said, I just froze. They said, how did you feel? She said, terrified and confused and ashamed and scared. How long? She said, very quick. But it felt like forever. He wouldn't leave a job unfinished. Is that when it would end? She said, yes. They said the next time? She said, the Beverly Crest house. I was on his bedroom closet floor putting things in a bag. Then Puff was in the closet. He had his penis out and he grabbed my head, and then she starts to cry and put it in. Mr. Combs took his penis out and he put it in your mouth, they ask. She says, yes, I was frozen. I didn't do anything. And then she starts to cry even more. They said, how did you feel? She said, like trash and scared and ashamed. They said, how long did it last? She said, it was very fast. Were there other sexual assaults? She says, yes, I have a dark feeling. One time we were flying on a private jet. Everyone was asleep. By the bathroom, there was a bed. I went by and he was standing right there. I tried to make it about other people who might see or hear. It didn't work. How did you feel? They asked. She said, helpless. I had lost some layer of protection. I wasn't safe, terrified. Do you remember what happened? She says, no. Was Cassie ever there? She says, no. Did you ever want these sexual acts with Mr. Combs? She says, no. Did you ever tell him no? She says, I couldn't tell him no about a sandwich or anything. Then he would know that I thought what he was doing was wrong. And I didn't want to lose everything I'd worked so hard for. This was the only world I had anymore. They said, what would happen to your job? She said, I would never work in that industry again. She said, and physically, that I'd be attacked. I don't want to die. He threatened that he would tell Cass that I had something to do with it. He said, how did you feel? She said, desperate and trapped. Worse, scary situation. I would have done anything. It was my fault. He said, did you tell anyone? She said, no, I was going to die with this. I would be humiliated and never work again. They said, and who would do these things? She said, Puff and all his people and all this, and Puff and all, maybe she meant his people. This was way before social media and Me Too. There was this confidentiality. She said, did others speak up? She said, Kayla Faulkner. Not sure of the spelling. I'm guessing that's Inner City Press saying that. They said, how did you hear? She says, there was an urgent call among film people. They said, what did you hear? Lay some context, the judge says. She says, who was on the call? She said, HR, C-suite, executive. They said, what were you told? She said, if she sued, I'd have to testify. I was supposed to say she was drinking and punched me, and that's why she was fired. Was that why? She said, no, it was because she complained. When else were you told you'd have to testify? She said, after Capricorn Clark. Did you testify? She said, no. They said, why didn't you go to the police about Mr. Combs sexually harassing you? She said, I didn't even consider it. Did you have experience with the police? She said, yes, I was speeding. I hadn't had time to get my license renewed. It was the only time I name dropped. I told her who I worked for, and she said, get him on the phone. I did, and she laughed. Oh, Puff Daddy, I love you. Did you get a ticket? She said, no. Why didn't you tell us first about the sexual assaults? She said, it's the most shameful thing of my life. Did you get a lawyer for this testimony? She said, yes. Did you speak about these sexual assaults before or after the lawyer? She said, after. Did you want to be talking about these sexual assaults? She said, no, it's traumatizing. They asked, where are you here? Why are you here today? She said, Miss Samizer, you've asked that. Well, the judge says that. They said, could we break here? He says, we'll see you tomorrow. And they leave. We get into today, so let's do that. Let's get into today. Which is day 13. And pick up from there. Okay. So day 13, we have Maria on direct and then crossed by Steele on the sexual assault. So it seems like we're going to continue on with Mia. Okay. They ask, let's get to before the judge says, what's this issue about? Issue with the charts? Alexandra Shapiro says, we object to the column entitled escort. They said, meaning the title. They said they are connecting up the stay with the hotel with the escorts traveled to the city. It says, we don't know if the escorts traveled to NY, that they actually went to London Hotel. Shapiro says the government can make an argument that an inference can be made. They said the title's out, the defense. The prosecution says we have records like go to room so and so in the hotel. We can remove the header. We will show that the escort was going to the hotel where there was a reservation under the name Frank Black. The judge said in this one, she said comes back and say it's escort Jules Theodore. He said we'll take what the court gives us. The judge says anything else on summary exhibits, and they get back into Mia after that. Okay. Um, the prosecution continues with her. They said, "Did you call the other employees family?" She said, "Yes, I was surrounded by them, and everyone referred to each other that way." She said, "You dated an employee?" She says, "Yes, Matt, the sound engineer." "Were you and Matt able to hang out together normally?" She says, "No. We had an apartment together in New York, but we were rarely there at the same time." Why did you go why did you go to South Africa?" She said, "Puff told me to accompany Cassie. She was shooting a movie." "What happened there?" Cass had caught Puff cheating with her with Gina. She was devastated. What were their interactions with Mr. Combs?" She says they were on the phone. He was in Miami. Then she stopped answering the calls. Then she said, "I'll read the blue messages, KK, Karam, Miss Karam, and you read the gray. That's you." She wrote, "PD wants to talk to you." "Who's that?" Mia says, "Puff." Audio call audio call not completed, they asked. Mia says, "I wasn't answering the calls, but I spoke with Puff and he threatened to kill me." "What else did he threaten to kill you with?" "He said he was firing me. He said I had to leave and fly back, and he threatened to kill me." They say Miss Karam wrote, "I need to talk to her. Not sure what to do. He needs you to call him now, or you don't have a job." "How did that make you feel?" She said, "Desperate, terrified, and really, really sad." They asked, "Did you answer KK's call?" She says, "No, I texted back that I had been asleep. It sucks to wake up to this every morning. I'm being shit on from all sides, and I'm in a fucked up spot." And what was KK's answer? She wrote, "Can you call me? What? Can you call me when you get a chance?" I wrote, "I'm having anxiety and night fears." That she said, "About who?" She said, "Puff." "Who are these WhatsApp with?" She said, "Puff. I screenshotted them. I've had other phones since." They said, "What did Mr. Combs write?" He said, if you don't call me in 2 minutes, I'm gonna tell everything. You're fired. Fuck ABC and their lawyers. Let's go to war." She said, "What do you think he meant by tell everything?" He said he told Cassie about the sexual assault. He said, "What do you mean? What do you think he meant by fuck ABC?" He said, "I had written a show based on my life as a assistant. I hit the press the most I ever got. He was threatening to take that away." He said, "Did the show ever air?" She said, "No." So she was attempting to write a show about her life and, you know, put out her life as an assistant, which would have obviously, um, you know, started a whistleblower snowball effect on Puff. So he shut that down. Said, "What did he write now?" She said, "Call me now, now. Then don't ever call me again." I wrote back that I'd been asleep. She said, "Is this the end of the screenshot?" He said, "Yes." They asked, "What's this?" She said, "My email to Puff, then KK." Said, "What did you write?" He said, "I'm really sorry, Puff. I know I love you." Smiley face. "I paid for my own flight. It will cost to change it. I'm sorry to ask for the money. I'm sorry. I want to make sure you are good. At the end of the day, regardless, I love you." They said, "Why did you send this?" He said, "He told me to return, then told me to stay. I couldn't afford the change fees. I told him. Cece says she really need me right now, but of course, I'll do whatever you want. I love you." He said, "Who is Cece?" She said, "Cass." Why did you write that to her?" She said, "Because I worked for him, and that's all that mattered." why did you CC Miss Karan? She said, because I needed an answer. I was in limbo. When you got back from South Africa, where did you work? She said, in the office in LA. Did you have less access to Mr. Combs? She says, much less. Did it make your jobs easier or harder? She said, it made it almost impossible. I needed his okay for everything, but I couldn't get any responses for him. How did it make you feel? She said, defeated. They asked, what is this? She said, a note for HR to me. She said, what's the date? She said, March 31st, 2011. Said, the judge says, Mr. Semizer, can we take the document down? I think it needs further redaction. They asked, what was happening? She said, I was suspended without pay. They said, what happened? She said, he came in and didn't see I have laid out all the options. Wait, he came in and didn't see I have laid all the options out. He started ranting. I tried to point to the other options. He says, who was this with? He said, James Cruz. He worked for Puff in like a managerial role. He asked for tickets. I wrote back, Puff's currently firing me right now. He wrote back, LOL. I wrote back, no, seriously, sad face. They asked, what's this? Email, D-Rock to me, March 25th, 2011. D-Rock asked what happened. She said, I went batshit crazy about his shirt. They asked, where was Puff? He said, with D-Rock, going to the doctor and going to the doctor and some other errands. I asked D-Rock to give me a heads up before they came back so I could be out of the way. They said, what did HR tell you? She said, Puff wanted me suspended without pay, and I was. Mia, does this memo document the reason you were suspended? She says no. HR told me Puff said I was being insubordinate. Did you get other documents like this from HR? She said yes. How did they make you feel? She said, so sad that I did something wrong. Did you continue working for Mr. Combs? She says yes. Did you feel you could leave your job? She said that wasn't a thought. I had tried to run away before, it didn't work. Said, did you feel you can get other jobs? She says, oh no, he would have made sure. I was scared of him. When did you try to run away from your job? New Year's 2010 to 2011? Where were you? She said St. Bart's. She asked, who was there? She said, me, Puff, Kim, the kids, some others. Where did you stay? She said, a yacht that Puff chartered. What did Mr. Combs ask you to do? She says, to count the money in the safe. He yelled I was counting too slow. He chased me out and told me you better learn to walk on water like Jesus. Bitch, get the fuck out of here. Whose job was it to count? She said security. I asked the crew to take me to land, but it was a hurricane or something. I hid on the 3rd floor. Who spoke to you? She said, Kim. She tried to console me and said, don't worry about it. I saw Puff coming toward me. I ran and hid in the crew cabin. Did the crew take you to land or a tender boat? She says, yes, but then they got a call to come back. I said, were you able to leave the country? She said, no. My passport was on the boat. Puff's staff had it. Did you go back to the boat? She said, yeah. I was told to get in the car and go to the plane to Vegas with Puff. In the car, could you hear Puff's call? She said he was telling his chef of staff I needed to be he was telling his chief of staff I needed to be suspended. Making up a story I didn't get to finish, he yelled, shut the fuck up. You left Mr. Combs' companies in 2017? She says, yes. I spoke with Brian Uffett. We were ending the Bad Boy documentary. I was producing that. What about Brian? Tell me. She said that Mr. Combs wanted to end Revolt Films. The company was going away. How did you feel? She said, I think I saw snot coming out of my nose for a while. I was worried. I had been told Revolt Films was the only company that had made money that year. How did you feel? That I had done something wrong. Um, Maybe he meant hadn't. They asked, what did Brian Offit say? He said that they would work out severance, but it was the holidays. He said, did you speak to anyone else? She said, KK, I had a little bit of time to horrifically process what had happened. KK said, you're still working on the documentary. They said, did you? She said, yes, until March or April. What did you do after it? She said, I cried myself to sleep. I ignored all the calls. Did you have conversations with Cassie after? She said, I can never tell who was with or without Puff, so I didn't respond. KK and Puffs couldn't believe I would go against him. I had gotten an employment attorney. KK said Puff couldn't believe it. They asked, did you get paid? She said, after 9 months, my attorney proposed mediation. They asked for like 10 million. Who came up with that figure? She said, my lawyers. Did you bring up the violent incidents? She said, a few of them. I feel that I was doing something horrible. I was breaking the idea of confidentiality, telling secrets. I felt wrong and shameful. It said, did you bring up sexual assaults? She said, oh no, I was going to die with that. How much did you receive? They asked. She said, 200,000. My lawyers got that much too. They said, how much? They said, what was it for? She said, bonuses. I hadn't been paid, and out of pocket. What would you return? Would you return the money to have this never happen? They say objection. The judge says overruled. She says, absolutely. They said, do you have any other lawsuits against Mr. Combs? She says, no. Did you contact Mr. Combs again? She says, when Kim died and Andre Harrell died. He said, did you tell him you loved him in these messages? She says, yes. That's how I would speak to him. It says, are you aware of Cassie's lawsuit? She says, yes, November 2023. Have you spoken with Cassie since the suit? She says, yes. We talk a lot, then not. We both hide from our phone in the depression thing. Then a few days ago, just personal stuff, and I love yous. Did you speak out about your testimony? She said, oh no. After the suit in November 2023, did anyone contact you? She says, yes, D-Rock. He was like my big brother. He said, how are you? What was your response? D-Rock, all caps, exclamation points. Why the exclamation points? She says, because I love exclamation points and D-Rock. I understood D-Rock was no longer with Puff, and he and his wife had a restaurant in Poconos. He wrote, I'm about to call you. What date? He said, November 2023. Did D-Rock call you? She said, yes. They said, what happened on that call? They said, objection. Judge said, ask again. He said, what did he say? He said, judge said, overruled. Mia said, he started with personal stuff. Then he said, the news is crazy. It wasn't like that. It was normal fighting. They said, was it? She said, absolutely not. D-Rock said, Puff misses you. He implied everyone agreed. I immediately thought, oh my God. They said objection. Judge says ground. They said non-repressive. They have a sidebar. They come back. They ask, what did you, they ask, did you want to, no, sorry. They come back. They ask, where did D-Rock say he was? She said he just landed in Miami. He was going to be at Puff's. He was going to take care of Christian. D-Rock said, maybe you could say something. He said, how did you respond? He said, I pretended I'd talk to Puff. Did you want to? She says, no, I was scared. He called me right after D-Rock. They said, how did you react? She said, I threw my phone behind the couch and ran out. They asked why. She said, it was just so triggering. They said, did you hear D-Rock? Did you hear from D-Rock again? She says, yes. He said, what did D-Rock write? He says that your body doesn't want you to do anything, just to talk. No, that your boy doesn't want you to do anything, just to talk. I didn't want to. I just wanted it to go away. It says, when did D-Rock write to you? She said, he wrote, I can't believe you're not hitting me back. It's February 22nd, 2024. She says, I knew he wouldn't stop, so I wrote back. I was scuba diving all day and didn't have my phone on the boat. She said, was that true? She said, no. I told D-Rock I called Puff, but there was no answer. I wanted to play neutral. D-Rock asks, how can you send something? What do you think he meant? She said, money. I said, no, I'm always ready to help y'all out. She said, they asked, he wrote, I'm allowed to send my sister a gift. Did he? She says, no. What do you think D-Rock was trying to do? Find out for Puff if I was a threat. Did Mr. Combs text you in February 2024? She says, yes. He said, call me when you have 10 minutes. Love. And this one's February 7th, 2024. She says, Mia said, I need my memory jogged. Did you respond? She says, no. I didn't want anything to do with him. He was he was the person I was traumatized by. I knew that this was a front. Was this the last message? She said, I think so. I got some. They said objection and then sustain. Said, do you work now? She says, no. I suffer from complex PTSD. They have a sidebar. The judge says sidebar. And they say, what are your symptoms? She says, misinterpreting emails. Something calls my name from across the room. All feelings of getting in trouble come flooding back. I trip, I guess, myself. So she has PTSDs. She can't even read emails, or she starts tripping out. They ask, who caused it? She says, Puff. They say they have a break. They come back. They say, Mr. Steele, you can put the blinders on the jurors' chairs. Mr. Semizer, do you have objections? So they said there's an exhibit where we're requesting hearsay redactions that we can put out. Okay. So tomorrow here in the Doja room, we're going to come back with cross-examination. Okay. We're going to come back with cross-examination tomorrow. And pick up with the rest of today and get into tomorrow, what's going on then. All right. So I'm going to stop it right here, as we always do, so that we can have a quick little recap tomorrow, and I can be able to provide a little bit more context of what's going on in the case, and I can talk to my peeps on the ground. And yeah, I love seeing the turnout. I hope that you guys enjoyed today. Please, if you're in here right now, if you're still here to the end, go ahead and hit the video with a like. We would greatly appreciate it, and I would greatly appreciate it as well. Again, check out those videos, especially the one with Desiree Perez. Spread that all over. I think it's very important that we get the word out on what these people do behind the scenes, behind closed doors, with their own family members. Okay, it's very important that we continue to put out content like that. So go ahead and repost this. Okay, go ahead and hit this with a repost, because we have to get information like that out, especially if you are a fan of Tory Lanez, if you're a fan of DDG. We have to get information like this out, because it is important that we display how these people truly use their power and mishandle and misuse their power. Okay, so again, thank you guys. Thanks everybody for coming out. I appreciate it. We've been having some great streaming days these last couple of days. So again, I appreciate everybody for showing support, and everybody for dropping some comments wherever y'all been dropping y'all comments and getting to these discussions. Shout out everybody who has been inviting me to some spaces to speak further about covering the trial and what I've been getting. So if you guys want a little bit more details, I did hop into my boy K Mill's space last night, so go ahead and lock into that space that he made last night, where I delve in and give a little bit of details of some of the things that I got from the case, and just talking and seeing how things are unfolded from the inside of the courtroom. Okay. So once again, I appreciate everybody for coming out. To all my stoners, hippies, and hip hop enthusiasts, please, 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 if you're on X, the link is under the video. It is Vibes and Highs. We just dropped some new music today. We just dropped a whole tape for you guys, 9 tracks for you guys to vibe through for the summer. Okay, we got some nice vibes for every type of vibe that you might have this summer. You know what I'm saying? Got some vibes for the flings. We got some vibes for the fellas. We got some vibes for the shorties. We got straight vibes the whole tape through, 9 tracks. So I hope you guys go and check that out by yours truly in the gang. You know what I'm saying? Putting these tracks together, because we can't hold this shit forever. You know what I'm saying? We only live once. So once again, I'm your boy Dope Boy Diesel. This is the Doja Room. I appreciate everybody for stopping through, but that is all I have for you guys today. Okay, and we'll be back tomorrow for day 14 of the trial. Okay, day 14, and we'll be getting into it. All right, see you guys then, and I'm out.
Yeah. Hey, this that special sauce. Spill that drip, I wipe it off. $1 million worth of game. Can't feel that I work too hard. Poetry on these.